I'm going to show you how to assign and grade these assignments, these lessons with your students. But these are all going to depend on what you do in your classroom. They're going to depend on your students and your school's protocols. So take what you can and adapt what you need to. The first thing is you want to choose if you're going to assign these slides directly to your students. They are built to be shared with your students, have them have a copy so that they can edit them and manipulate them. And you'll notice that in every slide there is a sign on whether it should be deleted. So if you see this, delete these slides before posting, make sure that you are not sharing that slide. But you do want to make a copy so that you can have access to these links and to everything else that are specifically for teachers. So I made a copy of this presentation by going to File, Make Copy, Entire Presentation. And then I'm going to rename it to just make sure that I'm clear that this is the student facing. So I keep the main title, but I make sure that I know that this is the student facing one. Again, I have these links and all these resources on my original document, but I'm going to delete these slides because students don't need to see them. And I don't want to confuse or muddle up student material more than I have to. So at this point, everything that's in the slide deck is student facing. And the other thing that every slide deck has to help you and your students out is it has this code that if there's a blue box, that means that the students should be writing their responses in that blue box if you choose to share the slide decks with students and have them make a copy. So if there is no blue box, then that means that in these slides that there's nothing for students to be doing themselves on that slide. So it's just read what's there and review it. These slides are also might also be part of your synchronous learning. So like this would be an instruction or model that you would be leading in front of your students, and so would this slide. But you can change that. You can add blue boxes. You can say, you know what, you do need to answer here and here and here, or maybe you want to add an activity for the lesson objective to break it down, or the focus question. These slides are there for you to manipulate. Make them your own. Make them fit your classroom. Once you do get to the independent work sections of the lesson, there will be directions, and then there will be blue boxes where students will be editing, adding, etc. So in this lesson, which is Unit 5, Day 1, students are comparing communism with fascism. So I put this source down in the notes below. It wasn't originally there, and I put it there because I want students to be able to have the link without me having to share it additionally. Then there's a wrap-up question at the end, and a check for understanding, which I'm going to grade both of those after students complete them. So optionally, you can give these slides to students through email or Google Classroom or Seesaw, however you have been assigning them. You could use Pear Deck if that's something that works for you, or Nearpod or similar apps. And I'm going to show you in a minute how to assign it through Google Classroom. But alternatively, you can adapt these slides into a Google document, which might be a little bit easier for you to grade and for your students to work on, so that they don't have to keep changing the slide, and that so when you're grading it, you don't have to look through every student's slide deck. You're just looking at one document. So I did that for this lesson. I took each slide, and you'll notice it's pretty much identical to what it says in the slide deck, and I just put it into one document. So this is Unit 5, Day 1. There's the focus question, the lesson objective, the background information, and then this is the teacher model, and I say follow the teacher or video model. And then on the next page, there is the communism versus fascism comparison chart. I give them the directions, the wrap-up question, and the check for understanding. And this is, for me, a little bit more straightforward, a little bit easier to use. So I adapt the Google Slides presentation into a document.